Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Charles, Mike, here we go. Ryan Brown and Aviv, this is going to be a private showing. This is great. The point of today's presentation was kind of to introduce you guys to the S4I DOP technology. Earlier in the week, we kind of went over the basics of RGB, introduced you guys to RGB basics if you weren't familiar, and then we kind of packaged that around our DOP kits and how these plug and play kits are designed to take all of that learning curve, all of those years of experience, and just get that out of your mind so you guys can just focus on installing lights and making money. So that's kind of the point of today, is to further introduce you into that. We're going to go into some anatomy of the system itself and just how easy they are to deploy. So let's go ahead and get started. S4 lights, for you guys that you don't know, industry leaders in commercial entertainment lighting across every venue. You could rattle off theme parks, zoos, aquariums, cultural institutions, and the like. We're everywhere. We pride ourselves in providing you that creative canvas, thinking outside the box and kind of giving you that wow factor that you might not be able to see or provide on your own. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to go ahead and take a minute and 45, show you a brief little video. All right, so that is S4 in a nutshell. I wanted to let some of the images speak for themselves. From the smallest lit display to the largest pixel display, we're here for you and to support you. My name is Ryan Palmer. I'm the integration manager for S4. What that means is it's my job to help you guys understand the products. Get that knowledge behind you along with your sales reps to empower you to feel confident to sell this product and to install this product. I've been in the entertainment business now since 1996. I've been in the Christmas business since 2009. I was lucky enough to work on some of the largest commercial installs in the country. And during that time, I was in the field. I was the technical director, event producer, you name the role, and I've been doing it. So I have the confidence that the product is going to work in the field. It's going to work in a commercial environment or any other environment that you put it in. And I can speak to you and educate you on how you can do the same. So today, like I mentioned, we're going to focus on our plug and play kits. What these kits are is they're designed to give you the biggest impact for the least amount of money and the easiest installable product that we could possibly come up with. Plug and play kits, first step with your rep, you choose your creative canvas. We'll go into what that is here in just a second. Then your rep will help you choose a kit. You install that kit, and then you make some money. So we're going to educate you on how to do that today. Let's talk about what the client wants versus the installer wants. So a client wants that wow factor, return on investment, call to action. When you're talking about RGB specifically, they might be kind of getting you know, a little mundane with their annual install that they've been doing traditionally over and over again. They want that wow factor. What the installer wants when they hear the word wow factor, they want the least preparation time that costs them money. They want as little to no learning curve, get in and get out, look clean and professional while doing it, because we know time is money. So let me introduce you to the S4i plug and play kits. Here's a little video of me installing a 25-foot pole tree in an hour and a half by myself. What this is, we have boiled these kits down to 5 components. These 5 components are easy to use. Our years of experience and knowledge roll into the quality control and durability of those products. And what you're left with is an easy to use product that you can do simply and effectively, very quickly, with not a lot of labor time. So let's dive in. Let's talk about a creative canvas. The most common creative canvases in the business are curtains, any flat surface. That could be a ceiling canopy or just a flat wall. Then you got pole trees, mostly used with flagpoles, because those flagpoles are found on any institution, hospital, car dealership. You rattle it off, they most likely have a flagpole. So that's why those are so common. And then tunnels. This is a perfect way to make an immersive experience, especially this year, where guests are not going to be willing to kind of congregate in groups. The year of the drive-through is upon us. So tunnels are going to be great, and these kits are a great way to do that. The kits are sized by length. We'll go into that later, but if you have a 12-foot pole, cool. If you have a 40-foot pole, but you only want to do a 12-foot experience with that pole tree, we can do that too. So we'll kind of go through some of those options and that scalability here as we go through. So I threw out creative canvas. You might not really be wrapping your mind around what I'm talking about, but those curtains, poles, and tunnels allow you to tell a creative story. The content that we've put together allows you to do that for multiple seasons. So when you're creating that canvas, what are you looking for? This is the place to bring your ideas and that creativity to a wider audience. It can literally be anything. You're only limited by your imagination. It needs good visibility and that high impact. And those clients, I've seen 9 out of 10, aren't really aware of these assets that they have already. It's your job to help them understand that. So let's look. This is one of the scenes that comes with our plug and play kits. Here's an example of it playing on that pole tree, the curtain, and the tunnel simultaneously. All 11 scenes, which we'll go over in a minute, are on these kits. So you can use these multi-seasonally. Don't just think of this as Christmas lights. So many people fall into the rut that they want to only use this for Christmas. Let's talk about expanding that portfolio, using these year-round. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to guys. I'm trying to keep my crews working all the time. So let's think beyond Christmas. We have Christmas content. If that's all you're doing, great. But if your clients are looking for something more, all 11 scenes are stored on here. So you can use multi-seasonal around Memorial Day, 4th of July, spring events, wine tastings, weddings. If you're having a leasing business, we make it easy for you to do that. These are the 11 scenes on your plug and play kit. It will come with every single one of those. So you have gentle, flowing movement. You have a salute to the USA, family-friendly Halloween and Christmas displays, icy or just groovy for that color that you might be looking for a roadside attraction. All 11 of these are on your plug and play HQ, which we'll go over in a minute, that you can switch out. So if you want to change your scenes nightly, daily, even by the hour, you have the power to do that as an installer. All the content's preloaded. There's a wide variety of it. It gives you options. It's seamless, so it's scalable. If you want to do a 12-foot wide curtain this year, and you want to do a 100-foot wide curtain next year, you can do that with these. That content will seamlessly display across how many ever kits you add. It's on demand with push buttons, as well as a cell phone or tablet user interface that we can go over here in a little while. Easy to use. You can pause them, choose your scene. You can either keep that control for yourself as an installer that equals service calls, kind of revenue generator for you, or you can give that power to the client if you're selling this as an end user product. It's up to you. All these scenes come with audio as well. If you want to use it, great. If you don't want to use it, it's there waiting for you when you choose to add speakers and utilize that audio function. So let's think outside the box for a second when we're talking about generating revenue as a business owner. How about logos? Would it be beneficial to you to be able to provide logos or sponsorship opportunities? These kits are a perfect way to do this. Think about car dealerships. This is one we've done in the past for Chevrolet. People don't think of these lights as revenue generating in this capacity, but they are. They're not just Christmas lights or decorative light strings. They're an advertising billboard if your clients choose them to be. So I just want to show you these as options, as things that we can add on to your plug and play kits and put your event logo, client logo. If it happens to be Coca-Cola, so be it. We can do that for you with this kit that you're buying. Any questions right now from the group? Anything at all? Feel free to fire. Cool. If not, we'll just keep on rolling. Charles is in it to win it. So we got ready to choose your kit. Okay, let's talk. Which creative canvas are you choosing? Curtain, pole, or tunnel? All we need to know, and our sales staff needs to know, is several simple measurements. How wide do you want it, and how tall do you want it? How long do you want it? Those are really the only three variables that you have to bring to the table. If we're talking about a Christmas event, great. For the examples that I'm going to lay out here in a second, we'll stick with pole trees just to kind of dial in on those and see what you would bring to the rep on your end. So you're like, hey, Aviv, I want to do a pole tree. Cool. Our first question is going to be, well, is it inside or outside? You'd be surprised. We've seen both. How tall is it? You want to send us a picture. We can have a better intelligent conversation. So you send us a picture of your pole. Well, this is what a 25 would look like in the blue, and this is what a yellow would look like if you did the 40. So we can kind of quickly help you guide that conversation on this is probably what would work best for you. Once we do that, we can look at our options. We can talk light count with you, and then again, go over those content options, the 11 scenes that are going to come with these kits, and coach you through. Is this a spring event, summer event, and the like, and take it from there. But all you need to do, bring us the measurements, and we'll take it from there. This is just an example of us in the warehouse setting up and striking a 25-foot poultry kit. On the left, I'm installing it by myself. On the right, I'm taking it down with one other individual. This is a 25-foot tall kit, 12-foot wide at the base. There's 40 drops of 100 lights, so you're looking at a 4,000 light kit. I get the question all the time. Great, this sounds awesome. How long is it going to take me to do? Well, if you're prepared, as little as an hour and a half. It is really that easy. I can't tell you how long it's going to take you with your crew in your situation to do something. It's my job to empower you on the pieces parts, show you just how simple it is, and actually show you me doing it by myself. So the end results are up to you. I tell people there's a million variables that go into every single install condition. Charles, if you're installing one of these in Cincinnati, you might be dealing with ice and sleet and snow. If you're installing one of these in Texas or Mike, wherever you are, you might not have to deal with any of that. But I'm just going to educate you on the pieces parts, and you can tell me how long it's going to take. Here's a full sample or full kit example. Like I said, we boiled this down into 5 easy parts. Okay, pictured in the lower center there is the plug and play HQ. This guy has the content on it. It has the map, and it's pushing that creative scene that you choose out of the 11 onto your creative canvas. Then we have power supply, low voltage, 24 volts. And we have a power control lead. What that's going to do is bring power and data together. Going to export it out to the taps. Those taps are then going to go to the 5th component, which is our light string. Okay, 5 easy to use components, and it could not be more plug and play. But let's dive in and show you what those are. Plug and play HQ. This guy is super cool. About the size of a shoebox, right? It is a pixel controller and a computer playing content in the same IP-rated weatherproof enclosure. This will stay with the display. Had a gentleman ask me the other day, does it Does it stay on site, or do you just use this for setup? Nope, this is the brain of the operation. This is what's pushing the content to your creative canvas. We've installed several user-friendly buttons on the side to give you test patterns in the field to go in the X and the Y direction to make sure you've installed a clean creative canvas so that that content will pop for your guests. We have wireless antennas on it. Why is that? You can dial into this with your phone or tablet. Super cool easy to use user interface so that you can hit pause or change scenes and do all of that from your phone. So if it's raining and it's sleeting and hailing during the Christmas season in the wintertime, or it's super hot in the summertime, you don't even have to get out of your truck to change the scene or service this device. You have RJ45 connectors on it, which we'll get into a little bit later. If you want to expand, you want to do a 300-foot long kit, cool, this box can do that for you. Aux jack on there that's weatherproof for your 1/8-inch jack to go to your speakers. It's producing a line level signal, so you can run that cable hundreds of feet if you need to before you amplify it. Super convenient. Some people don't use it, but it's there if you want it. So this is the content. This is all 11 scenes. This is the brains of the operation. Okay, like I mentioned, all of this content, all 11 scenes are stored on that HQ. So you can choose one, or you can let all of them play. You can literally do whatever you want to, how you're using this for your specific client. The reason I want to really drive this home is if you have a lease model or a year-round business, this one box, this one kit, this one creative canvas allows you to do multiple installs throughout the year and get that revenue that you don't normally do with your seasonal holiday Christmas lines. So keep that in mind. The tool, you're buying it, it's already right there. Let's use it. Okay, so we replaced our plug and play HQ here with a serial controller. This is inside your HQ. So that comes right out of the box. If we want to expand that kit, instead of doing a 12-foot wall, now we're doing a 100-foot wall. This is what is going to be there in the field instead of your HQ, just an additional pixel controller. No intimidation factor there, right? It's going to be in its own weatherproof enclosure. It's also IP65 rated. It's got 8 outputs on it. Each output is capable of 1,000 pixels. So this is 8,000 pixels of pixel control at your disposal. Multiple kits run off of one pixel controller. So this is dropped in the field and connected back to the brains of the operation, the plug and play HQ, with a regular Cat 6 cable. We sell them with weatherproof jacks on it, so you don't even have to worry about that. All you need to do is get power to this, and instantly we've expanded our show. So that's the controller. Now let's talk about power. From the controller, we're going to our DC 24-volt power supply. Right there, I might have intimidated certain people. Some people kind of think of low voltage as voodoo. You shouldn't. It's very safe. Typically, when you're talking in pixels, you're talking 12 volts or 24 volts. This system is 24 volts. So once you get that 120-volt power supply to this unit, it produces 24 volts out to your pixel, which is a nice, safe voltage. Right up there in the upper left. So weatherproof, completely completely casing, epoxy filled. So these the power supplies, you don't have to worry about them burning up or getting wet, tripping GFCIs. It's not an issue. Once we go from that power supply, you're going to go to the power control lead and then out to the taps. So it's a very simple chain. Again, we've talked about our pixel control, talked about our power supply, our power control lead. Now let's dive into why low voltage is important. If you've seen these before, you've probably been doing Christmas for a while. Over 10 years, I've seen more than I care to mention. But if you have those crews that you don't really watch and they're out there, they don't know their loads and they're over maxing your power supplies, you might have some burn up wires in the field. Not a good thing. This low voltage system takes that headache out of the picture. If you have a short, let's say a squirrel chews through one of your light strands, these power supplies are built to handle that. Won't take out your system, and it won't burn up your plugs. So that's nice and important. Again, we're talking about 24 volts, so it's a nice safe voltage. All of the ratings that you could possibly rattle off to a client to give them that peace of mind come with these units. Short circuit protection, hiccup mode, again, keep you from burning up those plugs in the field. Automatic shutdown if the unit is overheated. All that peace of mind is built right into these power supplies. So now let's talk about the power control lead. This unit sometimes confuses people. It's a unit that you see across all of the Pixel products in the S4i line. All this device is doing is it's taking the power from your 24 volt DC power supply and your data signal from your brain, which is your HQ, and it's combining those two into one output. That output has a TL48 connector on it, and that's going to go out to the taps and distribute that data and that power to your light strings. So let's take a look at this guy. Very simple device. If you can see my camera, I have one right here in front of me. So the power control lead, it's combining power, which is going to be your green cable from your power supply, and data, which is the white cable, TL32. This is from the HQ or your controller, and then combining them and outputting to the taps and to your light strings. Very, very simple device, but sometimes it confuses people as to what its purpose does. But just think about the name. It's the power control lead. So we're just combining power and data. Max of 1,000 lights per output. So all the kits have these built in. You don't have to worry about any of that learning curve. This is a part of the kit, and all this thought is thought out for you. Now that we've discussed the power control lead, let's move on to the taps. Depending on the kit that you choose, you're going to have taps or you're going to have mother lines. All a mother line is multiple taps put together already for your convenience. When you buy the kit, all the legwork on how many you need and how many you're coming with, all of that is going to be reviewed with your sales representative, but all that legwork is done, so you don't even have to think about it. What this tap is doing, it is taking that power and data signal from the power control lead, and it's breaking it up, and it's distributing it to the individual pixels. That's going to allow that data to distribute onto our creative canvas. So these guys are really doing the legwork. When you're looking at one of our plug and play taps, it has a 12-foot lead and a 6-inch tail. That allows you up to an 18-inch spacing. So you can really choose in the field. Do you want to do 12-inch spacing, 13-inch, 14, 15, 16, 18? You have that scalable variable in the field to make that decision on your own, and we'll help you do that during the sales conversation. But why is that important? You can cover more area with less light. So just want to let you know that's one of the options, but the anatomy of these is very simple. You have data input and you have data output to the strands, and you're daisy chaining on to your next tap. So these guys are nice and robust, outdoor rated, no moving parts, very solid component to use in the field. So let's look back at our system. We've ironed out all the confusion. We've talked about our Pixel controller and our HQ. We've talked about our power supplies. We're combining data and power to our power control lead, and now we've discussed our taps. After the taps, all that's left now is the lights. So let's talk about our light strands. When we're talking about our light strands, I'm going to say data over power. That might confuse you right out of the gate, but it's pretty cool. What that's doing is pushing that data signal over the power line. You're like, what? It's kind of voodoo, right? It's pretty cool. Let's discuss what you might be familiar with, and then I'll educate you on data over power. We're talking about traditional pixels, individually addressable, RGB, pixel technology. I'm going to go ahead and say this because I was asked this question by a client yesterday. You have RGB, stands for red, green, and blue. They asked me, Does that mean that I can only make them red, green, or blue? Absolutely not. Because we have red, green, and blue at our disposal through the art of color mixing, you literally have every color in the world at your disposal. This is how we make images and moving video across pixels. So don't just think about it as 3 colors, think about it as every color. So in traditional addressable RGBs, the data signal is broken by every individual light. It's serial in nature. So this is serial data, has a dedicated wire. Power is in parallel, forcing voltage down the whole strand. Okay, why is this important? Well, if you have one pixel fail, everything beyond it is going to get corrupted. That is the serial data model. Okay, think about it like this. Your data signal coming from your HQ is a book. That book, page 1, is read by pixel number 1. It rips out page number 1 and passes page number 2 and the rest of the book on to the rest of the light string. Well, if page number, or if pixel number 1 gets corrupted, it's not going to send that book and the rest of that information down the line. So you don't have isolated pixel failure, you have a pixel nightmare where everything connected beyond that first pixel is corrupted. Now let's look at data over power. S4's data over power technology, you still have individually addressed RGB pixels, but now we have individual localized failure. Why is this? Well, the data signal is being sent over the power lines. We only have 2 wires. Because of that, the configuration increases voltage on the line, which reduces current. So you can get much longer runs with much smaller gauges of wire. This is super important because now we can control up to 1,000 pixels off of one data and power chain. That microscopic IC in there is receiving its data, but instead of a book, think about it like this. Now, just like this conversation, I am the presenter, you guys are the audience. Every individual pixel is just listening for its piece of the pie. So if Charles quits listening, it doesn't matter because everyone else on the presentation is still going to hear what I'm saying and they're still going to work. So it's not serial, it's parallel. That's awesome. That means when one pixel fails, only that pixel fails. So when you're looking at a wall of 3,000 pixels behind me, if one goes out, you're never going to see it. You're not dealing with a whole line failing. You're only dealing with one pixel that fails. This is huge and very advantageous in the field. Because of this, our strands are smaller, and it's going to mimic that feel and shape of that 5mm light string that you're used to out there in the business. So, data over power technology. Data is passing over the power wire, individually addressable. Isolated data failure. This is amazingly beneficial in the field. Size and shape that mimics a 5mm dome. It's what you're used to. It looks just like a traditional light string. The controllers that we've developed that we reviewed briefly a minute ago receive scanning ACN. This allows you to control them on your own if you want to. You don't want our content, you don't want our control, cool. If you're used to pixels and you know what you're doing, we're happy to send you our controllers and you can control them however you'd like. Up to 200 lights per tap and 1,000 lights per controller output. This is huge, very advantageous. So now that we're talking about our poultry again, let's look at our 12-foot, 16-foot, 25-foot, and 40-foot options. As the tree grows, the strands grow. As the strand grows, the number of pixels grow. So you're getting more pixels for your money. These are broken down like this. If you're getting a 12-foot kit, those strands are 50 lights. That is 3.5-inch spacing. Medium kit, 65 lights. 16 feet long, a little bit bigger. Large kit, 100 lights. Now we're 25 foot. Notice the bulb spacing didn't change. All of them have 3.5-inch bulb spacing. All that's happening is the strand's getting longer and the number of pixels is increasing. Then we get to our extra large, which are our 40-foot lines. These are 100 lights, but the spacing increases a little bit more. So now you have 4.8-inch spacing. This makes that bad boy 40 feet long. Still 100 lights, just like the 25-foot kit. It's just a little bit wider spacing. So you have that variety there. This is what the sales reps will go over with you when you're choosing what canvas you might be interested in. Rigging, what? I thought we were talking about lights. Charles is like, what's he talking about? Well, Charles might have seen picture on the far left. This was not too far from Cincinnati. An installation I had in 2018, ice fog rolled through the Northeast and laid down the law. That is a single Ethernet cable that is in my hand, covered in about 4 inches of ice. It was a nightmare situation. So now why are we talking about rigging? Well, if you had that much ice build up on a light strand in the field, if you're installing in the Northeast, it's probably going to destroy that light string. But if we give it a rigging backbone, now we're relying on the strength of the wire rope. We're increasing from the marginal strength of a light string to the 1,700-pound breaking strength of ancient 1/8-inch wire rope. That's really important because now, on whether it's a 12-foot kit or a 40-foot kit, you guys have peace of mind that when that ice and rain, sleet, snow come through, your light strands are going to be just fine and you're not going to get those service calls. So out of the box in these plug and play kits, we're going to give you all the hardware and the rigging that you need. All the strands are mounted to wire rope. They come with carabiners and turnbuckles. This is important so you guys have a wide variety of application in the field. If you're doing your poultry and it's on unlevel ground, the strands might make contact with the ground on one side, but on the other side, you need them to be 4 inches longer. This allows you that flexibility. Every single strand that you get in a plug and play kit has this hardware on it. If you don't need to use it, great. You might need to on your next installation, but we give it to you regardless on every single strand. Whether it's a 12-foot or a 40-foot kit, you have that backbone. So it's 1/8-inch galvanized, or this is stainless steel aircraft cable. Our larger kits, if we're talking about 100 feet, which are a custom option that we'll be happy to talk about with your sales reps, we do galvanized aircraft cable. But this is all stainless steel. All the hardware is stainless steel. And again, it comes with a turnbuckle and carabiners for each strand. That light strand is not only wrapped around the steel, but in 1 foot intervals, it's attached with rated zip ties. So this gives you that peace of mind that if a tree branch comes down and it hits your tree or curtain, the tree branch is going to bounce off because these strands are going to have a nice solid steel backbone behind them to give that robust nature that we're looking for in the field. The strands are IP65 rated, and all of the individual husks are epoxy filled. So these pixels are about as dishwasher safe as you can possibly get. Do we have any questions now? Anybody at all? Don't be shy. If you don't, no worries. I think you're lying to me, but that's okay. We'll keep going.
Ryan?
Yeah.
Could you maybe explain a little bit, I don't know if now or later, explain us a little bit how you create, let's say, from the picture here, how I can create, design, or look at a system that I need more than one pole or a tunnel that is more than one, one size, let's say the 20 by 40, right? So I know I want 40, but I need it to be 100 foot long. So how we look at this, how we design it, how we look at the kits and the things related to it.
Sure. Let me scroll back here. It's a good question. Back in the beginning here when we talked about our kits, here we go. So basically Aviv's asking, let's look at the curtains. If you buy a large curtain kit, it's going to be 25 foot tall. It's going to be 12 feet wide. Okay, that's one kit. So with that one kit, now Aviv is saying that he wants that to be 100 feet wide. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to draw it out with you. So these kits, the curtain kits specifically, come with a mother line, and they're designed for a 6-inch drop spacing. So if you had 100 feet and 6 inches, what we're going to do with you, we're going to do the math. We're going to come up with how many drops we need. That's going to tell us how many physical kits we need. And we're just going to basically use a rubber stamp and keep stamping on down the line. Once we get to a certain number of or a certain number of kits, as we talked about earlier, our controllers are good for 8,000 pixels individually. So you'll notice that our large curtain has 2,400 pixels. There's plenty of room on that for multiple curtain kits to be off of one controller. Once we hit that 8,000 mark, we're going to add another kit and we're going to add another controller. When we do that, we have 8,000 more pixels of control. We're just going to keep doing that. As we do that, we're going to build that network. All of those controllers are going to be connected with Cat6 cable. If we get more than 2 of them, which our HQ can handle right out of the box, we're going to get an S4i switch that has 10 ports on it. So then we can put up to 10 controllers together and we can make this thing over 100 feet long. We can make it 200 feet long, 300 feet long, 600 feet long. Whatever you want to talk about, this whole system is very scalable. That's why we divided these kits the way we did.
Ryan, can I jump in real quick with a question?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So when you mentioned at the beginning that a 12-foot wide curtain has 6-inch spacing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain that spacing? That's bulb spacing front in between line to line, correct?
That's drop spacing. Yep, it's drop spacing. So when we're talking about an individual line, which we were just talking about, the individual strands, okay? Which, if you guys want to look at my camera, I'll be more than happy to show you. So if we're talking about this, this is our strand. This is our drop. This has that 3.5-inch spacing that we're talking about. That doesn't change. What we're talking about when we talk about drop spacing is how often do we have a strand? The wall behind me is 12-inch spacing exactly. What the curtains come with is 6-inch spacing, so you have a nice, dense format. So when we look at a mother line that comes with the curtain kits, here's an example of one tap with 2 outputs. Output 1 goes to your first strand. Output 2 goes to your second strand. They're conveniently zip tied on this line to give you that natural 6-inch spacing. If you want to alter that and make them tighter, you can do that. You would just scrunch this up and make it 1-inch spacing, 2-inch spacing. You have that ability, but we've designed them to be a nice, comfortable 6-inch spacing in the curtains.
Perfect.
If you say, well, I want to do what's behind you, I want to do 12-inch spacing. Cool. All that you're looking at is the exact same 25-foot light strings, but instead of a mother line at 6-inch spacing, we gave you an individual tap. And now that has 12-inch spacing, or if you want to use the full extent of the 12-inch tail and the 6-inch lead here, you could have up to 18-inch spacing. So we allow you to scale that install from 6 inches all the way up to 18 if you so choose. It's all about the area that you're trying to cover.
Thank you so much. That's perfect.
Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yes,
Cool.
thank you.
Yeah, but the bulb spacing is always the same.
Yeah, I would just add it's an area and a budget that you're trying to cover. So it's always very important to understand from the customer what is the budget and then how we can play with it to fit the budget and still give him a wow show. So
Exactly, especially if we're putting logos or different images on there.
Exactly
the 6-inch
right.
spacing works better than the 12-inch.
Yeah, the tighter the pixel spacing, the better. But once you get on a surface as big as the side of the building or a 40-foot tall image, if you get away, I'm sitting 10 feet in front of this curtain behind me, and you can read imagery on this if I scroll it across this curtain. So, you know, the further you get away, the better your perspective of those pixel density becomes, and there you go. But so that's why we divided the kits up the way we did into the heights and the width variables, because it allows us to take that budget and that creative canvas that you're going for and scale it for you. We can go as wild and crazy and large as we want to, and we can go as small down and dense and consolidated as we need to. So, yeah. Cool. Well, let's get back to where we were. So now that we're looking at our rig strands, we're looking at questions. To sum it up, let's look at, you know, when someone calls the rep, they say, I need a creative canvas, or I want something special, or I want an RGB installation. Normally they talk about 5 things. They want to talk about resistance, durability to the elements. So we got that covered with the IP rated. Every single piece of this installation is IP rated from top to bottom, from the pixel strands all the way to the power supplies. They want it to be bright and beautiful over time. So we have industry leading pixel degradation. So in 5 years, your pixels will still be out there making money for you. The hangability and the ease of installation. We've mounted these bad boys to wire rope to give them that extra durability and handling that you need when you're putting them up and taking them down, you know, if only one time a year for Christmas, or multi-seasonal use if you're using this kit every single week for a different special event. It's got that ease of install and that durability nature, and it also meets the safety requirements that you need to talk about. The flame retardant nature, the UL, if applicable for insurance, for some venues require UL rated light strings, we got you covered. The components in the taps are all IP rated and easy to use, and we're ready to go. So we've got a nice, robust, easy to use product.
I have another question, Ryan.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm not sure if you went over this earlier, but where it says the all DOP are IP67 plus, can you explain the IP rating to us?
Absolutely. So IP rating, ingress protection rating. So for those of you that aren't familiar, the two different numbers are associated with what size particle are we dealing with, and does it keep out particles as big as your hand, or does it keep out sandblasted particles as they're coming at you or forced from a water jet? So when you're looking at IP rating, it's really talking about the protection that it has against the elements. Now, a lot of people associate this with strictly water when we're talking about the installation of decorative light strings, but it's really beyond that. It's ingress protection in general. So that in Texas and Arizona and Southern California, we might want to talk about ingress protection against dust, you know, sand particles and things of that nature. So I'm happy to go into as in-depth if you'd like to get me on a call with your rep and explain why this is important. But the first number, which we're talking about here, is 6. 6 relates to it's dust height. There's no ingress of dust. 2 to 8 hours of bombardment, and you're not going to have any particle ingress at all of dust. If we were talking about 1, it's protected against a solid object greater than 50 millimeters, such as a solid hand. So if you see IP ratings in the 10s, it's talking about it'll keep out something as big as my hand. 6 is something as small as a particle of dust. Now let's go to the next number. In this case, we're talking about IP67. So 7 is protection against the effects of immersion in water between 15 centimeters and 1 meter deep for up to 30 minutes. So you can absolutely submerge this product and you're not going to have any water for up to 30 minutes. If you were talking about something lower like IP61, it would be protect against vertical and falling drops of water, limited ingress. So just nature and gravity. So that's how it's rated. The testing is very cool, and we can go into depth if someone is interested, or if you need to explain this to your clients. IP67, you can literally dunk them underwater. So we're very proud of our ingress protection rating. So all of our products are strictly tested at our factory, and as well as our Tucker facility down in Georgia. We take these things and dunk them in buckets of water, and we hold them there and we see what happens. So we stand behind all these official IP ratings. Did I answer your question?
Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's just
cool.
something to consider. I know everyone here is either wanting to resell this or install it for their own projects that they're working on. So being in the business, it's important to know what the quality of the product that we're bringing in, because you can get other light curtains from other companies that may not have any IP rating.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And all of our, you know, technology and content and signal flow and data flow also is FCC compliant with any FCC regulations that you might be violating. That's something a lot of people don't even think about, but it's something that we go out of our way to test and make sure we're good on that front as well.
Because a lot of times when we're doing a price quote for somebody, that may be getting competitive pricing, and they say, oh yeah, they're putting up an animated light curtain on my wall for $5,000 less than you are. And then you can have something to explain to them back, well, what, to make sure it's apples to apples. Because if it's a different product, it's not going to be the same rating or the same quality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And especially when it comes to FCC, you don't want to get a call that you're doing an FCC violation and get a multiple tens of $1,000 fine. So I've seen it happen. It's not good. So all of these products are tested and so robust that we stand behind them. And again, we don't want you to get a phone call that, hey, the lights aren't working because it's raining. It's one of the joys of my life when we're out installing a Pixel Pines in season, because inevitably every time I'm installing a Pixel Pines, it's going to be driving like 3-inch rainstorm. And, you know, we're soaked to the bone. Everything we have is soaking wet, and that tree and those pixels are sitting there rocking and rolling through it. And you get to look at the client and say, see, you don't have to worry about it. And so that's always a really good feeling.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, you're welcome.
A couple of more points I just want to add about that is that there are locations, just to know, that will not allow you to put standard 120 volts, and suddenly you open a whole new area. Like if you go water parks or mini golfs that you have a lot of kids, a lot of places that you have very close to people or very close to water, they will not allow 120 volt, and suddenly with the 24 volt DC, you basically not limited, and it's open an all new field, which is great. And also when you're looking on installation and you said comparing apple to apples, you can look also on the amperage of the system. So once you go low voltage, you're consuming less amp, which means you need less circuit boards. And that's, of course, translate into money as well. So there's a lot of benefits in going to this kind of a system.
That's exactly right. Low voltage means safety. And in the business, I guess I should have mentioned that, you know, when you hear high voltage in relation to decorative light strings, usually that's 120 volts. And so coming up in the business, working in a lot of children-friendly theme parks, it was basically like installing a commercial Christmas event in a daycare. And I've seen kids chewing on light strings, pulling light bulbs out of sockets and putting them in their brother and sister's mouths and everything like that. So once you go low voltage, you're completely safe to what I refer to as guest interaction, as well as Mother Nature and everything that all the challenges that that's going to bring. But guest interaction, in my opinion, if you you really don't know a commercial Christmas installation until you've done maintenance. It's very easy to, you know, make light strands look good on opening day. But 22 operating days later, once they've been put through 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 people, all of a sudden things start looking a little whooped. And, you know, all of our S4 products are nice and robust, and it'll help you hold up against those rigors. But yeah, so in, you know, kind of in review, we're talking about a lower cost of light string with data over power technology, size, shape, and feel, your typical strings, which here at S4 we refer to as benchmark light strings. Reduce failure impact, so when you have isolated pixel failure, you're not going to get that call that one line or half of the pole tree is out. It's only going to be one pixel. It's not going to be noticed at all. This proprietary and patented technology, S4, completely controls the manufacturing of this product, from the sourcing of the smallest integrated circuit all the way through to every single component. We are the direct manufacturers and in complete control of the entire supply chain. Because of that, we know our quality, we stand behind our quality, and there are no questions of our quality. So we stand behind it 100%. Maximum benefits of power line communication technology. We introduced you guys to that in data over power and how cool that can be. We're very proud of the patents that we have over that technology, and bringing it to the industry. Our Pixel Pines last year deployed in the field all had data over power technology on them, and now our plug and play kits are going out with DOP on it, and we're very proud of that, and maintains that real life requirements of standard decorative light strings. So, you know, if you guys are interested here, I just wanted to show you a couple videos. This is a 25-foot tall, 12-foot wide, 24 drop of 100 light kit. So this is the large curtain kit. It's got 2,400 lights. This is me putting it up by myself with a lift driver in an hour. So you deploy them, you have test mode to help you know that your alignment's good. And now I'm going to go through and tighten all the turnbuckles and get them nice and even. So that is 2,400 lights. That is a single curtain kit. Okay. Now, Charles goes, well, that's cool, but I need more than 12 feet. That's exactly what we were talking about a minute ago when Stacy asked the question, you know, are we limited to that? No, we're not. Let's take these exact same light strands, but let's give you a tunnel infrastructure. That's going to give us up to 18-inch spacing. So all we're going to do here is we're going to add 600 lights to what we just put up. Okay. Previously, we were looking at 2,400 lights, 12 feet wide. Now we're looking at the exact same light strands, 25 foot tall, 100 lights each. This is going to be 30 feet wide with 30 drops. So all we did is added 600 lights and we almost tripled our width. So this is just an example of how these kits can be used. I don't want you guys to, you know, dive in and think that they can only be used one way. Some people, you know, they hear that 12-foot linear mark. They're like, I can only make a curtain that's in increments of 12 feet and I can only do it at 6-inch spacing. That's not the case. You know, the reason we made these kits broken down into the puzzle pieces that they are is so that we can discuss these projects with you and come up with the best kit for your solution. So plug and play. We went over the creative content. We helped you choose your kit. We talked about how easy installation is. And now you guys are out there making money. So that, you know, I hope that during this presentation, we have, you know, we have kind of educated you guys. We've helped empower you all on, you know, Pixel start to finish. If you have any question, I don't care how small it is, you know, get in touch with your S4 sales rep. We'll help you go over the most basic detail of any installation, whether you're talking about one of the other 1,200 SKUs that we have in our catalog. If you want to light a single bush, or if you want to do an RGB wall that is 1,000 feet long, we're happy to talk to you. And that's what the sales reps do. We divided the country into sales territories. These guys know your area, and a lot of times they can come out and see your installations and help guide you further. But we will go through every product, no matter how small. So when you're talking to S4 and you're talking about any of the products that we have, you are gaining hundreds of years of knowledge in the business. Just on our creative team and our S4I tech team and our engineering team in Tucker, we have well over 100 years worth of installation and consumer event knowledge as it relates to decorative light strings. So we are happy to empower you, get rid of that learning curve, and bring all of that knowledge and power to your business. So please let us help out. Any questions at all?
Yeah, Ryan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry. One question there, and I know you've been done a lot of beautiful and crazy installations. Can you share with us some out-of-the-box things that you've done, or things that can be done with those kits, like just, you know, outside of the box of the, here is the tunnel, here is the pole, and here is the curtain? So,
absolutely, absolutely. I was talking to a gentleman just the other day, and he was like, well, I don't necessarily have a curtain. I have a series of columns. I said, okay, well, you want to do something cool on the columns? That's what you're saying. He said, yes. I said, okay, cool. Let's look at a tunnel kit. Perfect. What is the diameter of your column? How tall are they? 25 feet tall. Wow, that's convenient. Okay, well, let's take a curtain kit and let's wrap it individually around a column. So each column will have X amount of lights and go from there. So we can take one kit and do multiple surfaces with it. Let's take a pole tree. Take a pole tree, which we discussed earlier. Instead of having a 12-foot circle at the base and a point at the top, which is your flag pole or any other kind of pole tree you want to talk about, let's pick a diameter circle at the bottom. If it's 12 feet, cool. Let's pick a diameter circle at the top. If that's 12 feet, cool. Let's make that a cylindrical shaft that's a chandelier in an atrium, or the centerpiece of a show in an arena, or rattle off any kind of installation that you'd like to, and let's make that into a chandelier, not a pole tree. So you're only limited literally to your imagination. I've used S4 lights mounted with wire rope and done carousel roofs. I've done canopies outside around ride attractions in theme parks, and you name it. So when we say we're only limited to your imagination, you guys tell us what you want. If you call your sales rep and you just say, hey, I want to do something special, we can help guide you. Absolutely. If you're like, we want to do something crazy, that's cool. It probably can start with one of these plug and play kits that's already got 11 different scenes. It's got multi-seasonal use for you, so you can make revenue multiple times throughout the year. And you can take that poultry and do this with it this week and do that with it this week. Let's invert it and hang it in a restaurant for a wedding reception. Let's then take it down and put it behind a band and do it later in the evening. They're so easy to move. You could literally do multiple installs in the same day if you wanted to. So that's what our sales rep is going to do. It's kind of going to open your way of thinking and help you have that creative insight that you might not have otherwise. We've done thousands of projects across hundreds of venues across the country, and we can bring all that experience to the table and help you think outside the box and give something special to your guests. So does that answer there for you, Aviv?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. Mike, you got anything? I see you on here. Feel free to ask anything you might have. Man, I'm happy to help. Or Charles, after we met just an hour ago, any questions that you might have, feel free to fire them off.
No, I'm pretty new to it. I came to the huge convention to kind of see what it had to offer. I have another business for the last 22 years doing home and commercial building inspections. And in the winter time, it does slow down for us. So I'm just looking for another avenue to have a different stream of income. I was talking to the gal that had a class yesterday. She's part of CLIPA. And
yep.
She said this might be a little advanced for me to come, but I could come and just check it out. But I'm going to the other class at 1 o'clock. That's a little more basic.
Cool.
But I enjoyed your technology and everything looks pretty cool. So thank you.
Awesome, Mike. Well, yeah, if you have any questions on it and you want us to go the whole thing, like I said, I kind of did the basic class the other day. This one was designed to be more advanced, but I'm happy to go through every single step of the process with you. So clients call me all the time and I empower them to speak intelligently about it. So all about it, man.
Thank you,
we're
Brian.
glad you could join us. Yeah.
I want to jump in and say, just so Mike knows, that once Mike does get trained at our CLIPA certification, whether it's regional or online, we do have videos of Ryan's previous presentations with us for the basic RGB training that would be available to you as well. So luckily we have Ryan and S4 on our in our CLIPA buyers group as a preferred vendor. So they're going to be there for us all year long and then planning for next year too.
Exactly
So
right.
that's
That's great.
we appreciate
I think we're going to try and go to the event in Texas next month.
the Dallas. Great. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You'll meet the guys today who are running that. So
Excellent. Thank you.
Very cool. Very cool.
yeah, so I put into the chat a couple of links. One link is to become a CLIPA buyers group, to register at CLIPA buyers group. It's free to register. You don't have to be a CLIPA member to register there. You get a certain discount structure from our preferred vendors as a CLIPA buyer. If you are a CLIPA member and you've done the training program, you will get a greater discount at our CLIPA buyers group. I also put a link in to find out more information about registering, how to become a CLIPA certified installer. If you need me to put that back in there, feel free to put something in the chat, or go ahead and unmute yourself and ask for any questions you might have about either what Ryan just shared with us or about CLIPA, the Christmas Light Installation Pros Association. We sell Christmas lights. Any we hang Christmas lights questions, we're here to help. So just let us know.
Quick question, Ryan. I'm just curious, what location are you at?
Right now, I'm sitting in our Toano warehouse, just outside of Williamsburg, Virginia. We have a 21,000 square foot warehouse here where we have one of the largest inventories in the country.
Is that where you normally are?
It is, yep. I live here with my wife and daughter in Williamsburg. Any other year by now, I would have taken probably about 100 flights. I normally go regionally and see all of our sales reps and meet the clients out in the field and coach installations and that kind of thing. This year, travel has been a little little light, but here in just a few weeks, I'm going to be getting out there in the field, and you'll see me around the country at some of our larger installations we have going on.
Okay, I was just curious. I'm out of Hampton, so we're gonna ride out there.
Come on,
I
man. Come
I
see
don't know
me.
about today, but we'll probably get out there next week.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, if you're here in Virginia, then your sales rep would be Caitlin, and you can reach out to her. Just call our office, and you'll get her. And then we can set up a meeting. I'll bring you back here and show you what's behind me, and kind of talk the whole thing through with you. That'd be great.
All right, cool. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Nice to meet you, Ramon.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, bring it on, Mike.
Probably everybody already knows the answer to this except for me, but
Don't worry about it, man.
I know that you do holiday lights, Christmas lights. Do you find that Halloween is a big holiday? I mean, it's a big holiday generally. I don't know about lights, but in other areas, Halloween seems to be a really big holiday.
Oh yeah, no. If you look statistically up, you're talking to the right guy on this. I professionally installed commercial haunted houses for quite some time. But no, Halloween rivals Christmas. Across the globe, it's rivaling Christmas. It's like over an $80 billion industry. So Halloween is huge. This year, people are trying to figure out what they're going to do. But one of the big reasons why we have Halloween scenes and a lot of Halloween content, one of the first iterations of plug and play kits that I installed was for Aviv out in California, and that was for a pumpkin patch. Their main seasonal revenue was the pumpkin, the hay maze, huge hay maze, and all the different games and attractions that go with that. And we did a Halloween themed tunnel for them. And then the cool part, they went over to their HQ. They held the button for 3 seconds, and then they switched over to the Christmas content. And now they had a Christmas train and a Christmas attraction. So you see that a lot. It's huge. A lot of farmers. Normally you will see us in March at Trans World Haunted Attraction and Christmas Trade Show in St. Louis, Missouri. We go to that every year, and it's a gigantic business. So just because these might, be referred to as Christmas lights or holiday seasonal lights, absolutely you can use them for Halloween. And Halloween is a massive part of the business.
Okay, great. Yeah, I see a lot of farmers take their fields and do a lot of corn mazes and, bale up their hay and, have mazes and stuff and pumpkin patches. And, I see that a lot in our area.
That's exactly right, man. And we have one from the warehouse here. I bet it's less than 1.5 miles down the street, and they do a tractor drive around the property. Perfect place for a tunnel. So that was one of the big reasons why we designed one of these kits to be a tunnel, is because that's the genre of business that you see a lot of that in, hayride and drive-through attractions. So yeah, man, absolutely. Don't discredit that Halloween business. It's huge.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Cool. Anybody else? Well, sure. I hope, I didn't go above anybody's heads today, but if I did, that's okay. Like I said, Ramon, I'll be excited to meet you, man. I will meet with you guys. We can set up with your sales rep another webinar like this, so we can one-on-one talk you through these kits or any of our other products that you might be on the fence about or want to learn more about. Our job here is to empower you guys with knowledge and expertise so that you can go out and sell this product confidently to your clients, especially if you have a leasing mentality in your business, that you can make as much money as you can and use these multi-seasonally. We really try to bring all that experience and give it to you. We're not in competition with you. We're here to empower you. So please, no question is too small at all. So if you, don't want to ask because you're embarrassed, give me on the phone. We can talk about it privately. No problem at all. But I'm here to answer any question you guys have. So I appreciate your time today. And I guess if no one else has any questions, or Stacy, you don't have anything else, I'll kind of give up the floor.
Thank you so much, Ryan, again for coming on. Thank you, S4, for being here. We really do appreciate all the work that you do and the hard work you put into making this usable for our members and for this industry. And I appreciate the time you took today. So thank you so much, everyone who's joined. Like I said, you can register on those links in the chat, or you can go to the CLIPAwebsite.com, and we're happy to help. So thank you so much for all being here.
Cool.
All right. Have a great
Thank
day.
you all. Charles, Mike, Ramon, it was a pleasure. And anyone else that joined, yeah, it was nice meeting you all.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.